So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our sixth episode, and I have an error on the presentation. So it's
Oh my
sixth
God. Oh my
episode.
God.
But I will fix it for
Who
sure.
cares?
It's
It's number
wrong
6.
date, yeah, and wrong
Oh,
number,
yeah,
but
I see
anyway.
it's October. My God. But the title is correct.
Yeah, I hope so. So, again, I'm alone. If you don't know me, I'm Alexander Moskalyuk, more than 20 years in IT and mostly in business analysis and all other stuff related with software development and consulting people. Unfortunately, Rainer, the founder of European BA Day, could not join us tonight, but I have really interesting guest tonight. But first, I should remind you about our sponsors, because without them, it would be much harder to organize all this event. So we have Deutsche Telekom as a main sponsor. Also, we have IRAB and IBO, and we have Masventa, founders of European BA Day and Consulting Group. And let's talk about our guest. Almudena, I'm happy to have you tonight. Please tell a few words about yourself. I think you will do it better than me.
Okay, I see, Alexandra, you don't want to try out my name. I completely understand you. Hello, everybody. Well, my name is Almudena Rodriguez Pardo. Sounds Spanish. I am a Spaniard. I was born in Spain, actually. I'm Basque. I come from the north of Spain, from Bilbao. And I went to school in Spain, then I went to high school in the United States, then I went to college in Germany. I got stuck in Germany. I didn't make it out anymore. And I've been now 35 years in Germany, working, studying, living. I come from the telecommunications. I've been 22 years working for this tiny little company you might have heard from called Ericsson. So I was many years developer. Maybe you're speaking on the phones with 5G, you could be using my code actually. So I was for many years in the development. Then I moved into the agile transformation. I was part of Scrum teams. I was part of the PMO. I was in quality assurance. So I've been involved in many different areas in my life as an employee. And 7 years ago, I left Ericsson and I created my own company together with several colleagues, very senior people. We worked together and we run all over the world between Europe and South America in 4 languages, talking, consulting, speaking, presenting, teaching, training, doing whatever you need. So happy to be here. And happy to be part of the BA Day in May. I was today updating my calendar for 2025, setting up the states, looking where are bank holidays. And today I made clear, oh, I have to book the time of the BA. Don't forget.
Yeah, actually, don't forget about our conference, and I'm really happy to have you today or tonight. But okay, you were a developer, and
I
it's
was
I think
15 years. You still see code here falling down from my fingers. They still smell,
just
you know?
okay. Yeah, keyboard. Yeah, it left a huge smell sometimes. But anyway, why OKRs?
Why OKRs? Why not?
Oh,
Sorry.
great answer.
Sorry for being mean. Yeah, I'm gonna go a bit farther back. We keep running as consultants, and I'm being employee in a big multinational. I do have most of my customers are also big companies. I have some small companies with 60 people, 80 people. I really enjoy it, but most of my customers, due to my background, are in like big multinationals, which of course has different challenges. All companies are challenging. But you might have the situation that you stop somebody in the corridor or now in the digital corridors in MS Teams, and you ask, what's the strategy of the company? Where are we heading for? And they look at you and say, there was a PowerPoint at the beginning of the year. Let me think. Yeah? If you're lucky, I had one customer where we could not find the strategy. Everybody knew there was one, but we couldn't find it. Nobody knew where it was stored. We asked some secretaries, we were all over the place. By the time I've left, we didn't know where the strategy was, whatever it was. By other companies, I managed to find the strategy pretty quick, but it is, like the wish letter you're going to write at the end of next month to Santa Claus, where you wish everything. Where's a strategy where we want to be richer and we want to be more famous and we want to be wider and we want to be all over the world and we want to say, wait, that's not a strategy, that's a wish list. So we keep being into a situation where we have amazing executions when it comes to strategy and planning. Say, does anybody in this company, apart from the C-level, knows where we want to head off? And is this cascading down to the employees? For most of the organizations, the answer is no. Some people might know where we're heading for, not all. And the connection between strategy, planning, and execution is lost. This is where OKRs are supporting us. If you have a clear strategy and everybody in the company knows exactly where they're heading for, you can stop listening and you can go and grab a glass of wine. So that is that this talk is obsolete for you.
Yeah, and when I'm listening to you, I just hear two examples from my everyday job or life. And when you ask business customers, well, what are your business requirements? What do you want? What are your business goals? Yeah, we want to be rich. Yeah, we want to have everything. We want to have what market share? Biggest one. We want to be the best.
And with the
Yeah,
best quality and cheapest.
yeah. So make it just the best. Okay. But how and when then you ask some developer or some team that develops some, I don't know, some feature in business software, why are you doing this, I don't know, document or this form? We
Somebody
were said,
told me.
yeah, we were told, yeah, we should do this. But how would it affect the business? I don't know. Why should they
And
care?
and they don't care. That is the tragedy. That is the tragedy.
Yeah.
They have people doing their job, whatever I told them. And in the 90s, I was a developer where I got the work package to be done. I wrote the code, I pushed the code, somebody tested it, and I got the next work package. Don't ask me which functionality went this code went into. I didn't have the big picture. I didn't know what I was working for. I was doing my work packages and I was doing it very well.
Yeah. So if you're talking about, from business perspective, OKRs can be and will be very useful. But again, we are business analysis professionals. So let's keep in mind our point of view and our speciality. So because we are somewhere in the middle, between business and develop and everybody else.
Yeah, well, Sabine and Ryan, we know each other very well. I think I joined already before COVID, 2019, I was already by the business day in Frankfurt. So I've been part of this conference for many years as presenting, brought some of my customers as keynotes. And we very much understand as an organizational business agility consultant like I am, that we need to work very close together with all roles, also business analysts. And I think also business analysts have understood nowadays they need to work very close with us, the agile consultants, to find their place, to find their role. And business analysts, they keep existing. It's not that agility came, all the roles disappeared. Okay, the role might not be explicitly described in some frameworks like in SAFe. You don't have business analysts, but you have the responsibilities. The responsibilities are there. And SAFe does not tell you, I'm just taking SAFe like we could take any other framework, doesn't tell you not to have business analysis. Their responsibilities are there. It's your problem how you solve them. So I keep seeing many business analysts in the companies I work with, and they are very important. But also here, I keep running into a situation that these business analysts, they don't have the holistically, the systemic overview of the company. They might be business analysts for one product. I'm taking one example. I have actually one company in this situation. They have 9 people working in the area of business analysis. And in this company, each of these business analysts work for 1 or 2 products. And they come back to the company with information and they try to push their product on any price to the teams. Which one is the most important of online? They don't care. So they are missing the systemic view. I'm paid to get the overview and the business requirements for this product that I'm going to do it. Whether that's the most important thing for the company right now or not, it's not my problem. So when I came to this company, there was a huge fright from this business analysis. They were calling them product responsibles, but it was this role you have, fighting each other to try to push their requirements to the teams. I say, wait, does anybody have a clue what are here the priorities of the company? And here we started with OKRs. Here I introduce OKRs and say, look, of the thousands of things going on at the same time, I talk to the directors, what is the most important thing we have to work on now? I say, well, more than everything is important. I say, no, give it a try. Second chance, what is the things we have to do now? And they say, okay, well, yeah, this project and this project, they really have to finish this year. I say, all right, we do OKRs and we have an OKR line in your portfolio Kanban, and we say that is the focus. The OKRs are the focus. And if you have time spare, work on the rest. And this was a huge change. Suddenly they have clear priorities, and between the business analysis, they had to understand, okay, even if I'm in love with my product, as for today, is not the most important one for the company. It is also important. Everything is important. But if we focus on everything, we finish nothing. And that is where OKRs were born, due to companies working on everything at the same time, finishing nothing. And we do have to, most of the companies have more work than capacity. I mean, be happy. It could be worse. That you have a lot of people sitting around and no work, So most of the people have more projects than, and the business analysts come with all the requirements and they push for the project to be started. The project started. Wow. They will never be finished. And so that is what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to make sure, okay, let's focus on the 2 or 3 projects we can finish as quick as possible, and the others have to wait. And it's a pity. I know you're in love with your product. I know you're convinced it's the most beautiful product in the world, but the other product is getting a bigger marketplace, is opening new markets in another continent, is getting another segments we don't have yet, is competing with our biggest competitor. There are several reasons with the strategy you should define why we set these priorities, and then we enforce it with OKRs. Instead of a manager telling you, that's the project I'm going to work on, you look at the OKRs of the objective key results and you say, okay, I see I have to put my effort maybe to support my other colleague in business analysis for other project, because that seems to be the highest priority for our company. So that is where I observe the business analysis behavior, supporting with OKRs to have a systemic overview. What is the company need, or not what I want to be done, because I created the most beautiful requirements you've ever seen.
Yeah.
This never happened to you, Alexander?
Why? I love my requirements and I don't care what other people want in this company. I want them to be done. Yeah. Of course.
I love this prioritization meetings where sometimes I'm part of.
Yeah.
I have to be in these business prioritization meetings, and sometimes I'm coaching or I'm moderator, so people, they don't kill themselves. And you had very emotional discussions. You have some people saying, if we don't finish this, we're screwed up. I said, screwed up, a very, very, very emotional description of priorities, don't you think so? So this is what we're trying to avoid with OKRs, that everybody looks at it and they have a common compass. They look at the compass and say, okay, that is, as for today, the most important thing. And maybe in 6 months, priority changes. Things are happening in the world. All priorities were set in January 2020, changed radically in April 2020, because a COVID pandemic all over the world changed the way of working and the priorities of 99% of the companies. So we had to react and adapt and change the strategies. So OKRs support us, that the people know, okay, that is our vision, our mission, that's the strategy. We put the strategy into objectives and we measure that we're moving toward the objectives through key results.
Sounds like, OKRs just can solve all our problems. So we can.
Now I come to the disclosure. You didn't read the little letters at the bottom. Of course, it could solve all our problems if we do our homework properly. You know, when you are at the airport and you see this magazine, how to lose weight, 10 kilos in 2 weeks, you think, hey, that's going to solve all my problems. And then you buy the magazine and you open it and say, oh, I have to do sports. Oh, I cannot drink my beer. Oh, I have to go on a diet. Oh my God, this is a lot of work. So it's the same with OKRs. It sounds so simple. Hmm? Uh, and then when you put it in place, they say, oh my God, Almudena, we need so much discipline. Say, yes, you do. Hmm? Because in most
Yeah,
of the cases, I set beautiful OKRs in the companies, and a week later, some employee to the other, hey, I know the OKRs say that, but I'm convinced this other thing is more important.
yeah. Okay, so we will talk about OKRs for tonight, and just let me outline our plan for tonight. And we won't tell all about OKRs, of course. Yeah, because
I
it's
will
a
need to,
lot.
you should stay longer tonight, and I have time, but we won't
Uh,
make it in 1 hour. Sorry about this.
no, I think we will give our audience some impression what is this and how we can use this. So we will just talk about what is this, how we can, how OKRs can support digital business transformation, what is difference between OKR and different other ways to set goals, and maybe some real world applications and how we can use this with different models. But let's start with OKRs, because maybe not all the guests and or audience understand these three symbols. So what is this?
Excuse me, I just had some issue here. I couldn't hear the question. I'm very sorry. Could you
Okay.
please? There was some. I was just wondering whether my laptop was trying to switch headphones. Could you please repeat the question?
Of course, yeah. So we
Excuse
will
me.
start with don't worry, stop. We'll start with OKRs with basics. So what is OKRs? So because maybe not all in our audience understands the term.
All right. Thank you. Objective key results is nothing new. It sounds new because every couple of years something becomes fancy. You know, like now people are wearing again the clothes from the 70s. So same in the business. Sometimes things get fancy again after several years. OKRs are nothing new. They are over 50 years old. They were created by Intel and then they were developed really developed in Google. So Google grew with OKRs and Chrome exists through OKRs. And that's how they became famous. And it's very fashionable right now. For many years, nobody talked about them again, and now they are back in place. Objective key results. You have a vision of your company. You have a very clear strategy, not I want it all. And then we took this strategy and we create objectives, a couple of them, 3 or 4, not 20. And say, okay, that's where we want to reach. And we set them for the first. We might have on company level for 1 year, but always thinking you might have flexibility. Think of 2020. And then we might be a bit more concrete for the next 3 months. Objectives can be very ambitious. They can be very concrete. They don't have to be beautiful. They have to be useful. They are based on the strategy. And then we want to measure, here come the key results, if whatever we're doing, because we're doing things of projects, we're doing meetings, we're doing a lot of things, are we moving towards that objective? Is all the stuff on our table moving in that direction? Those are these key results. Those are metrics we set for each objective, 3 or 4 per objective, no more, that indicate the things we're doing are going in that direction. It's our metric for ourselves to know, am I working on the right things? That's it in a nutshell. If you join me on the 14th of May, by the BA day at the workshop, I will go further in detail.
Yeah, and when I'm listening to you, for me it sounds like just like from a BA book, when you set up business requirements, they should be measurable, they should be clear, and then you should connect your business requirements to all other types of requirements down there. So you just make the composition. Just divide it in small chunks, and you start decomposing it to small functional and non-functional requirements. And I think
As
for
Yeah, Susan, please keep talking. Keep talking. Sorry about interrupting.
yeah, so for me, it's like for business analysts, it's the OKRs framework can be a great way to help business define business requirements.
Definitely, it should, but you're this. I mean that they can be pretty much well mapped to the setup you have in business analysis, of course. But the important thing on OKRs, they have to be understandable for anybody in the company. That means you have the same objective as a business analyst than a developer, than a tester, or than any lady working for human resources. Even in the reception, they have the same objective than you have. That
And
is
it can
that
be,
is the difference. So we have systemic view, where is the company heading for? Not, of course, requirements should be measurable, or we can have a long discussion. Metrics can also be very wide. You might have proxy metrics. For example, customer satisfaction is a metric, but do you look at the face of your customer and measure the white of the smile? Or we go for proxy metrics, which are more simple metrics like an NPS or like a customer survey results, which are proxy metrics for a very complex metrics. So actually, I will now be provocative. I will say everything is measured with concrete measures or with wider measures. So, and I could go into metrics, another area which I'm a freak because I was many years quality coordinator in the PMO. So measures are my passion. And that's the reason I also got very much involved in OKRs. Now, very important, we're not measuring. And here comes the important thing. Key results are an orientation. You don't have to reach any number. There's not a goal. There's not a goal. It is just, are we heading in the right direction?
it's great comment, because often people think about measurements that okay, there is KPI, I should reach it anyway, and they lost the value of this process during they just replace it with trying to reach some KPI.
We can come back. I think we are coming back to the famous €1 million question, difference between OKRs and KPI. I think I could write a book about this.
Yeah, and I should say again, so when we talk about business analysis, we often talk about value. And if the value if the objective and why we're doing this is understandable not only for developers but for each staff, each person in the company, it's very well defined value. And this way we should be able to connect our requirements with OKRs. Yeah, I totally agree with you that, for example, when we're talking about some project, requirements will be, the scope of the project will be smaller than OKRs of the company, because we're not covering only if you're talking about business architecture or solution architecture and no company architecture, maybe they will be on the same level. But often, yeah, they can be on the different level, maybe lower or just cover some part of OKRs. But understanding this can help a lot in creating the real business value and promote explaining this.
For me, one of the important words with OKRs is systemic. For me, it's systemic. For me, the most important is to start always on the highest level, on C level. Let's set the OKR for the company, make sure everybody understands it. And then, depending on the size of the company, we might cascade. We might say, okay, this objective or this key result is probably more impacting you in this area, but the people say this hosting canary, this catch ball going over several levels, not that the strategy is presented to the managers, they look at it, its managers take their part and bring it as a KPI to their department and set it there, and the employees see nothing else but this one KPI, nothing else. Then you miss again the holistic view, and then we are again doing what we're told. And then as an employee, you cannot correct. You cannot say, wait a minute, this is what I'm working on. It's not part of the OKRs. No, this passionate business analyst who came and said, I know I found absolutely fantastic product who's going to save the company. I will say, okay, thank you very much, my dear. But what you are planning, this beautiful product to be used by elderly people in the banks, it's not in our OKRs. It's not what the company is heading for. But I know this is what we need. So, yeah, let's have a chat. No, this helps that everybody involved in the companies, that the teams can say, wait, that what you want us to take in the next sprint has no correlation to our OKRs. So this helps that the people speak up and that we delegate responsibility in all employees of the company to say something. Otherwise, do this. Okay, finished. Great.
Done. Yeah. Okay.
Done. Do I get my bonus?
Yeah, of course. Maybe. Yeah, totally agree with you. And I think it's important to clearly explain how it works and why it's important. But let's look at some example. Okay, we are from IT somehow, and how OKRs can support our digital business transformation. So yeah, we can talk about some business strategy, but what about digital transformation?
I mean, I like the combination of digital business transformation. Now, here you have IT and business, technology and business coming together. It makes no sense to have an amazing transformation in business area with no contact to technology, and makes also no sense to have fantastic new technology introduced in the company where the business is not updated. So here we have the right combinations, and transformation where we might have an official transformation ongoing, we might have a continuous transformation, but my opinion is that companies are continuously transforming. But for me, the important is again, I come back here, looking at your sentence, I come to the systemic view, to the complete systemic view. That now we have, this is the digital part, go and do it. Implement this tool. Okay, what is this tool for? I couldn't care less. And this is our fantastic business strategy. And I got some business strategy presented as a developer. I didn't understand one single word because it was in business language. I didn't, as a developer, sorry. We spoke C++, Java, and Python, like it was our language. And then as developers, if we presented something to the business, we spoke Python. They couldn't understand a word what we were saying. We had technological language. And OKRs bring the company together. They're in a language anybody, at least the objectives, anybody can understand. And the key results could be a bit more technical or not. We can discuss about it. What we want to measure, we're sure we're going in the right direction. It's not a KPI we have to reach. It's a metric which gives us a hint. It seems to be going in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's every time when we want to do some digital transformation, we just should go back and check, do we really need it? Yeah, so.
It was Sinek who said, start with a why. Mrs. Rodriguez, we need you. Why? We want to have transformation. Why? Well, everybody's doing. Why? So
It's
what the
my
heck are we
favorite.
doing here? First question of any consultant, what the heck am I doing here? And
Uh,
once we have clarity, what are we doing and why, then we can say, okay, what is our strategy to get there? Because you might have a strategy, don't you? Almudena, we want to get to Paris. Okay, are we going to go by bus? Are we going to walk over, hitchhike, maybe take a train, or do we have enough money for the plane? That's the strategy. How are we getting there? And then we have to see how are we going to measure that we're going in the right direction? If I go to the airport and I get into a plane and I arrive and said, welcome to Kiev, but my goal was to get to Paris, something went wrong. And I want to make sure this doesn't happen. So we have metrics, key results, which tell us, Almudena, you're going to get in the wrong plane.
yeah, or for example, yeah, we have a great train. It's best one. You will have great journey, but it will bring you in a really different direction.
Yeah, and you arrive, hello, welcome to Rome. So wait, did we went to Paris? Yeah, but the train ride was fantastic. So
Yeah, it was
I
great.
did
Yeah,
enjoy coding. Writing this script in Python was so much fun. So fantastic. I'm happy. It was not what we needed. But the
yeah,
business analyst told me that was very important. That is what we want to avoid. That everybody has the overview. No, that is where we want to go, and that is the way we're going to get there.
yeah. And even recently, I had a conversation at my project that okay, we have a great product we should implement in our recruiting department because it's great. It's for recruiting, etc. Okay, why? Yeah. Okay, what should we do? Oh, we should have tasks for our recruiters. But you have tasks already. But we don't like design.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or does your recruiting department has a problem right now? No, is there a problem to be solved? Because no, they're doing fine, but this tool will improve their work. So wait, we might have the need of your work somewhere else where we really have problems, not because just run into a beautiful possibility to improve the work of recruiting, but recruiting is going fine and it's not the biggest problem we have. Why should we put more effort there? So this is where OKRs helps you. And also that all employees of the company can support these decisions. That even recruiting can say, no, thank you, don't bring me this beautiful tool, because I know this sounds fantastic, with artificial intelligence and all of that, but it's not what the company needs right now. We have to focus somewhere else.
Yeah. So every time we just do some option selection or analyzing some options, we should use we should link them to OKRs, to objectives of our company, and just check if they support our current OKRs for company. Yeah.
Exactly. That gives you an orientation where we're putting our effort is what the company needs, not what my department needs, not what my team needs, or not what this beautiful nice guy who is pushing me the requirements needs.
Yeah.
Because I had another customer where there were several projects ongoing, and its project manager had a bonus on the project. You can imagine what priority sessions were like, because everybody was fighting for themselves. If my project is not pushed, I don't get my bonus. Who cares if it's the most important project for the company?
So we switching to your favorite topic, OKRs versus KPIs.
Well,
Other.
you have here traditional goal setting. You might have just goals. No? So goal is very wide. KPIs comes from the 40s. I think it was Peter Drucker. It was mentioned in one of his management books. And it came actually with a scorecard, with a balanced scorecard. There were some goals set, and then there were some numbers which indicated success, and they had to be reached. No, these numbers. And KPIs are important. Any company has KPI. You have to have certain revenue in any company, otherwise you cannot pay the salaries. So I have a company, I have KPIs. KPIs are required because there are some metrics which are not an option. The revenue with my company, I have to measure it. Otherwise, I might get in trouble. Now that you have fantastic KPIs you are reaching, doesn't mean you are following a clear strategy. You might have sitting in a car and you have your indicators, you have a dashboard in your car indicating how much petrol you have, the temperature of the oil, and this might be everything green, you're still going in the wrong direction. Having enough petrol in the car doesn't take you to the right destination. So we need both. We need KPIs, some things we have to measure to secure the car has had the revisions, the car has enough petrol, the car has the temperature of the oil is clear. So you do need this number, and you have to observe them that they keep in a certain range. But they're not helping you to fulfill a strategy. And in these scorecards where they were set, these KPIs were also with the times last century where the complexity was lower. It was easier in companies to measure. If you have a factory, we can measure number of objects finished in the factory in one day. So we have to reach in production 1,000 pieces a day. You could measure this pretty easily. We're looking how many objects would have been finished and leaving the factory. This is where KPIs come from. Now, in times of complexity of BUCA, KPIs can turn confusing because there might be some numbers which is not clear which number we need, but not clear how can you reach them. And as I had one person from Human Resources tell me, Mrs. Rodriguez, I have to put the bonus on somewhere. So we put it on the KPIs. If you reach this number, you get your bonus. And then the gaming begins. I have been quality coordinator. I guarantee you want a number, we will make it. We might have to run the company against the wall, but the number, we will make it.
Will be rich. Yeah.
And that is the danger with KPIs. Any manipulation of numbers needed, if there's money tied to them. Human beings are very clever. You probably know this story of the City Hall of Calcutta trying to get rid of the rats. Calcutta was
Not
full
this
of
one.
rats. And then they decided, okay, let's offer 1 rupee for each rat which is delivered to the city hall dead. A couple of months later, all around Calcutta was full of farms where they were growing rats. You want rats, you get rats.
Yep.
So here's where we have to make sure what are we, when we put a KPI and when we put on them money or a bonus, what are we trying to fulfill?
So we can say we should not replace OKRs with KPIs. We should support OKRs with KPIs. So
They are
they
two
should be
complete
aligned.
different things, only both have numbers, and that makes them confusing. And I had people sitting in my OKRs workshop when I told them, don't you ever put money on OKRs. They look at me like, what? How do I calculate the bonus? I couldn't care less, but not with the OKRs. So we have to make sure there's no gaming. Think of beautiful ways to set up bonus. We could have another talk about this, but don't put any sort of bonus on the OKRs. Put them somewhere else. Now, if you put them on KPIs, which are parallels to the OKRs will be ignored. You have had a KPI with a bonus, and on parallels, I have OKRs. Guess what am I going to work on? I'm going to do whatever is
Bonus.
needed to reach the KPI, which my bonus is tied for, even if I have to run the company against the wall. And who cares about the OKRs? They bring me no money. So here we have to be careful. We say the OKRs, I always ask, are there any KPIs on parallel and are tied to a bonus? Because if this is the case, we're losing our time.
Yep. And okay, and if we're talking about some traditional goal settings, some business goals.
Steve Jones just wrote in the chat. Yeah, thank you, Steve. It's exactly what I'm saying and what I'm observing the companies. And like I say, I work a lot in quality area and on metrics. I'm a metrics freak, and I've seen all sorts of manipulations, completely legal, of a metric. Never trust metrics. So because human beings are very clever. Excuse me, I disturbed your question.
No. There is a lie, big lie, and statistics. Yeah.
Oh yes, not a lie. I wouldn't say we didn't ever do something illegal.
Yeah.
We didn't lie. We just put a bit of makeup.
Yep.
Give me a number, my friend. I will take care.
Okay. So OKRs, it's more OKRs and KPIs clear. And what about other traditional goals, like business goals? Okay, we have a goal just to improve our, I don't know, sales by 10%. Grow our sales by 10%, for example.
Yeah, my first question will be why? How is this tied to the strategy? Or what's the strategy of the company? Maybe the company strategy is to increase the sales. I say, Almudena, we've been expanding, winning new customers. Fantastic. We're very well known. We have fantastic branding. We're not making enough money. So the next focus after getting our brand to be famous is to adjust the prices and make money, because we need it to keep growing. So, okay, then in this case, yes, you are right. It should be in our objectives to grow the sales, but it has to be some background behind. Where are we coming from? Where are we heading for? Just to sales. Is any objective focus on innovation? Is on a objective focus on so is this expansion what you want, or sales can be also a bit unconcrete. So I will try to make an objective key result out of it. Also, not trying to confuse the company that you create. On the one hand, we have OKRs. On the next wall, we have goals. And on the other wall, we have KPIs. Can we tie them? So you give the people one compass, and not 3 different ones.
Exactly, yeah. And should be one system, not 3 different
If
ones.
possible. Yeah, if possible. Most of the cases, I do manage to tie the goals to the OKRs. And if they are not very close by another, then we have another problem.
Yep. Okay, we still talking about goals, OKRs, KPIs, and I think for some people can be a little confusing because it sounds almost the same. Yeah, but there is really difference. Yeah. And could you provide just small example somehow how it works? Yeah, or some small example of, I don't know, something just to show maybe this difference or just?
I had, when I was developing in the 90s, we got our KPIs. And one KPI was, it came from the quality department, from a bunch of people who had never seen a line of code. It was very funny, giving us KPIs. And one KPI was 12.5% more faults found in function test and in unit test. If you come from the development, you right away smile because it is very easy to reach, because it's so simple to manipulate. So we look at it, we smiled, we turned around, and we kept working. We didn't get background information, or we didn't even ask about where did it come from. The goal, that was the KPI, the goal was better software quality. Now, if at that point of time, the manager would have come and say, hey, we have now an objective. We want top software quality. I'm going to call the objective the best software in the world. It is an inspirational objective. It is very wide. What do you all developers think we should measure to make sure we're going in that direction? We will have come up with beautiful ideas of which you can measure in code. There are tools measuring code quality. There are procedures you can run for code quality. There are automation testing you can do. We will have come with a list of things, say, let's measure this, let's measure that, let's measure that. If we measure these 4 things and we have reached somewhere on these numbers, we know our code is going in the direction of being the best code in the world. That could be how a terrible KPI could be turned in a beautiful OKR. First, by saying what is the real objective? The real objective was not to have more unit tests mistakes. That is what we created manually. The real objective was to increase the code quality. So as a manager, you inspire your people. You say, you know what? I want our code to be the best in the world. Okay, inspirational objective. And now your feedback. And then people create the key results. And they will be good. And they take responsibility. We had no responsibility for that KPI. If somebody would have asked it, we'll have laughed. But we didn't open the mouth because the bonus was secure.
Yeah. There was interesting webinar about implementing OKRs in one of Ukrainian government institutions, and there was they had a problem of very long process of confirmation of agreements confirmation, contracts confirmation. And first they tried, as well, just calculate every step, see who can do more, better, or just reduce some option. But then they start discussing this process with the team, and team came up with other idea. They just created templates that can automatically fill out. So they actually did Google form for few templates. And because there was less of choice for people who were creating these contracts, they reduced a lot of alternative roads, alternative flows of confirmation of these contracts. And as a result, they got much faster process of contract confirmation.
Thank you, Olakav. That is a beautiful example how objective key result can support. You get the most important people, the people doing the work, to speak up. Say, hey, do you know what? Let's do it in a different way. KPIs were always top down. Somebody came up with a beautiful idea and say, we're gonna, I want you guys to reach this number. And didn't say, what do you think? There's a comment from Steve saying, you inspire people through measuring their work. You always have to measure code quality, for God's sake. I mean, I've been 15 years in development. By now, everything is automated. But you have thousands of different measures. Some of them are crappy, some of them are fantastic. And I can tell you, if you want to make sure that our code quality is good, let's measure this and this and that. And that will tell us if we're going the right direction. And now here's a very important point. If we fail, let's say I propose you to measure 4 things and the results are terrible, then you shouldn't chop heads of your people or fire anybody, but sit together and think, okay, let's think together, let's reflect. What drove us to have such a poor results in the key results? Oh, well, Almudena, we have no automation. So, why? Because we couldn't afford to install some of the tools for automation testing. All right, so maybe what we should do first before putting this ambition, because I have this all the time with companies I work with, I say, Almudena, our code is crappy. We had slow quality. Say, okay, good. Let's do more testing. Let's automate. No, we cannot automate. We have no money for that. So this is the song I hear every second day. I say, okay, let's do first invest in our structure so people can improve the quality of the coding. It was not their fault. It was the fault of the system they were involved in. So very important is key results are for learning, not for chopping heads. And you always measure. I measure everybody's work in my company. I measure my own work with full transparency. And if something is not going the direction we wanted, then we think together and reflect. We sit together and say, it's not working the way we thought. What could be failing? Let's think together. What can we improve? So this is where we use again the power of the people. Thank you for the comments, Steve.
Yeah, great comments. Okay, what about you? You have these other models like ADKAR, and I have no idea what is this.
AdCar model, yeah. Well, it is already almost 10 to.
Yeah,
There are different change models because I'm going to this. We're going to be all night here. Actually, it's one invention of my company, by the way, the model Rodriguez, which I will disclose, of course, in the workshop I'm running in May, where we combine several models. We combine OKRs, we combine AdCar, and we combine Toyota Kata. We put 3 models together, and this allows you not only to define objective and create some key results on the secure, that you have a Kanban of user stories, feature, projects you are running and observing. Everything you're working on, are they impacting the OKRs? AdCar is one of the several models we have for change processes. You might have the 8 steps of Kotter, you have the Rogers curve, and then other one will be AdCar. But the 5 step of AdCars, we can combine it with OKRs and put again Toyota Katsas on top. And then you have a complete setup how you can run your company. That's what we call the model Rodriguez.
great.
It's a great name.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a model Rodriguez. It's best name.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, and we are getting running out of time, and let's come back to business analysts. So we talked a lot about OKRs, and we talked about we explained why all these objectives should be understandable for every person in the company. Yeah.
Yeah.
So still, for me as a business analyst, it sounds very familiar because first of all, we should explain and educate all our stakeholders about value and about why we are doing this. Because if they don't understand why, we are losing their moral. Yeah, when we just setting up KPIs for them, they will just manipulate them to get better bonuses. And it's will be all it's my favorite discussion about time logs and work logs, why we should do it. Yeah, when you start doing this just to control people, they will just write there anything else but not truth. Yeah.
I spoke about this a bit at the beginning of several business analysts being in love with their product, and I will come to you, Christiana, right now. I'm finished now answering this point. Business analysts are key because they're very close to the OKRs. They're in the business. As your name sounds, you're in the business. I come from the technology, So you are the first one who have to understand where the company is heading for, to say these are our objectives. And you are the first one who said to say, okay, if we don't do these requirements right away, I'm going to lose the customer. But I see on the objectives that this is not the most important customer of the company. And if we don't lose them, actually, this customer is a small one. So maybe I support my colleague business analyst with his customer because that's what the OKRs require from us. So they push collaboration. And business analysts have to make sure that the requirements any Scrum team gets are completely aligned with the objective key results of the company. Because if the objectives we have for the company say we're going to go to Paris and you come with fantastic requirements to get to Rome, we might all get very confused. So you are the
At the
ones
end.
who look at the compass and say, okay, yeah, this is what the customer wants from us, and the customer is very pushy. And if you have some gorilla alpha customer, we all know who is very loud, and you are the one who says, just a minute, let's think. It's not what my company needs. So you support the prioritizations of the company, and you support focus. You say influence change. One of the biggest needs we have in any company we work with is focus. They all have 20,000 projects ongoing at the same time. None of them will ever get finished, but they got started. So this is where it gets very dangerous. Oh, there's a bit of capacity free. Let's allocate some resources and create a new project. Say, wait, why don't we focus on these two other ones? No, we have two resources with 10% time. Say, wait, is that what the company needs? I did this. I had companies trying to start a new project because some resources, not people, had a spare time on the Excel sheet and they had to keep them busy. I said, then reallocate to the other project which is ongoing. Oh no, Almudena, because the budget is not what is planned. I say, what do you want? To plan beautiful budget or to get things done?
And to get the real results.
Yeah.
In the company. Agree. And from my point of view, OKRs can be great way to help our business customers to define their business requirements and explain these business requirements to all the company staff and to our team as well.
Yeah, we'll go in the workshop through an exercise where I go to with everybody together. We try to do as we are working for the mayor of, I'll take a city, Vienna, and we create some strategy and some objectives, and then through the workshop create results for it, and then activities and projects. And Christiane asked whether you put the OKRs on a poster on the wall. I like to start small. You have fantastic tooling right now in the market. You have amazing tools running OKRs, but I like to start small. When I start an OKR session, I bring my post-its with me, absolute retro communication. Otherwise, of course, if it's online, we do it on a mirror board. And I say, keep it simple for the first, and then we can always scale to a fancy tool.
Yeah. And there is other thing that just stays in my mind, that we always talking about some creating new project from project team. On the other hand, there is always a problem. Sometimes there is always a problem with management. They can't set up clear priorities. So the priorities are changing often. So OKRs can be a great way to help them understand their own priorities.
Absolutely. When I hear Almudena, priorities are changing. I say, okay, how often? Yeah, every 3 months. Say, okay.
Oh, every day.
Okay, yeah, exactly. I say, all right, no? We can be agile. And when I say, no, Almudena, priorities are changing. How often? Every day. I say, well, that's not agility anymore. That is pure chaos. So, and if a company priorities are changing every day, somebody somewhere up there doesn't have a clue what they want. So we should be able, the difference between chaos and agility is the sprint. We're trying with the sprint to freeze a window of 2 weeks. If we're not able to freeze a window of 2 weeks on that is what we need, and that's what's going to be finished in 2 weeks, something's going wrong here with focus. So the first one to bring in focus was Scrum, and now OKRs is escalating this to the complete company.
Yeah, totally agree, and I like the approach and the technique. So
Fantastic.
unfortunately, we are running out of time, and
5 minutes left. Anybody more
so
questions? I mean, feel free to speak up or to open the microphones. I'm always happy for any questions, also the provoking ones, also the mean ones. I'm also a mean person, don't worry.
don't believe. Almudena is best person. Yeah, when we talk about OKRs, yeah.
Talking about OKRs, yeah, it's maybe later.
So Christiane, hello.
Hello, Christiane,
Hello,
welcome.
Alexander. Hello.
Nice to see you.
Thank you. We have company from the United States. Steve Jones is somewhere near Connecticut, and Tamara Koppel is in Kansas City, Missouri.
Amazing. Great. I went to high school in Michigan, so not far away. But
This sounds...
Christian, I'm very close to you actually. I live in Aachen.
Yes. That's less than 2 hours on the
Tamara.
train.
Yeah, so very close to you.
This is very interesting and concrete. I'll try to talk about it to people I work with.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to contact me over LinkedIn. With my name, you find me right away. Don't worry. And I'm always happy, like if, in your case, 2 hours. If your managers need to talk a bit closer, I'm always happy to pass by or to have 1 hour online to explain a bit more in detail how this can help. And actually, through introducing OKRs in some customers, we discover a lot of other things. I had a company ask me to put OKRs, very simple thing. It's a small company, 60 people. I thought, it's going to be a couple of days work, I'm done. And I was in 2 hours into the workshop of OKRs when I stopped. I said, wait, I can spend the rest of the day setting OKRs for you. It's getting you nowhere. They look at me saying, what do we need to do? You need to clarify the status of your Scrum teams. You need to secure the role of the Scrum coach. You need to secure the portfolio. You need to secure the prioritization setup. And then we can set OKRs. And they look at me like, okay. And that's what we're doing now. So like by trying to put OKRs, we came up with the real problems of the company. And now we have sort of weak OKRs. I was not very hard on them because on parallel, we're constructing the portfolio management. We're setting the stage for the sprint of the Scrum teams to have the commitment in place. We're doing many other things. And then in these cases, I have the ambition level of the objective cursor a bit down so the rest of the change can happen.
Yeah, setting OKRs is often like working with business can be a really complicated task, but again, it will help a lot.
But like I said, through OKRs, I was able to identify a lot of interesting other problems.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other questions? Because we are getting closer to the end of our podcast.
Well, if in the middle of the night you wake up with a question, like I say, I'm very easy to reach over LinkedIn.
Yeah, but if you want to learn more about OKRs and train, please visit Almudena's workshop. You see,
Thank you, Tamara. Yeah,
So,
it will be amazing to have you there. And of course, it will be great if you join us at the PA Day in Frankfurt. Oh, no, it's not in Frankfurt this time, it's online. Looking forward to that is on site again. But yeah, it will be an amazing 2 days online. It will be really great.
Yeah, so we will have workshop and we will have interesting session. So please join, book your seat, and I think see you all during our conference.
Thank you very much, Alexander.
Thank you very much, Almudena. It was really interesting conversation. So let me just, find the button how to stop this. And here it is. So have a nice evening and bye, everyone. Thank you.
You stop the recording?
Not yet.
Oh.
But I can, okay.